Palantir, as we all know, is having their big Q4 earnings call on Tuesday, February 16th. I have said, and I still believe, that this will be the most interesting day of trading in the history of Palantir's stock. It's impossible to know what this stock is going to do. And I'm actually really curious. This will sort of be my question of the day to you. Do you think that Palantir is going to have an earnings beat? And do you think that the stock is going to go up, or is it going to go down after they report earnings Tuesday morning? Because remember, it's in the morning, 6 a.m. So we're going to wake up to a new reality with Palantir. I think that Palantir is going to have an earnings beat. I think that the stock will go up. But you can see that I'm very unsure about it. I can also basically just as easily imagine the stock going down. Why would the stock go down? The stock would go down because even if they have an earnings beat, perhaps Palantir won't live up to the high expectations that I think the market has for Palantir right now. Palantir could miss earnings, in which case I think the stock plummets down to like $25 a share. Palantir stock could go down because share lockup period is ending 3 days after the earnings call this Friday. There's a lot of reasons why Palantir stock could go down. It really will have to be a impressive earnings call for the stock to go up. But because I'm such a Palantir bull, I just love the idea of the stock going up. And maybe in my heart of hearts, though, I am afraid that the stock is going to go down, though. Because now we're at $32 a share, which is a very appropriate spot for this stock to be. We had Cathie Wood buy up shares right in this period. They also had their demo day, and then boom, stocks shot up. We were in the euphoria of the GameStop week, and Palantir blew past its all-time high, up to about $44, $45 a share. We had Palantir partnering with IBM right about here, and it sent shares up, but now they're back to where it was basically. So that IBM partnership isn't really so much priced in. No one knows what to do with this stock. I think that the market is in the same spot as me as far as not knowing if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down after earnings. But I feel like it's going to go dramatically one way or the other. We know something is going to happen with Palantir stock here in the next week, but we just don't know what, because we've got the earnings call coming up, and then we've got the share lockup period expiring 3 days later, next Friday. And so it feels like either the stock is going to go up into the 40s or it's going to go down into the 20s, but it feels impossible for it to stay right here at $32 a share. Something's got to give, because there's just too much force in both directions. And one idea I just had while making this video about the share lockup period that has sort of got me thinking is that while the downward pressure of the share lockup period expiration is real, the fear is that many of those shares will flood the market from people saying, I can sell, I'm going to sell, and it will drive Palantir stock price down. However, people can also buy those shares, big institutions, retail investors, everyone, and that perhaps the desire to buy shares will be equal to the desire to sell shares because the lockup period will have expired and there will be no more looming threat of the lockup period in the future. Does that make sense? The pressure keeping a lid on Palantir stock is in part because of the fear of the share lockup period and what effect it'll have on Palantir's share price. It's all wishy-washy, whereas after the earnings call, after the share lockup period expires, well, that's it. There is no more. All the shares are out there. You could say, well, it's at $32 a share. I have nothing left to worry about as far as share lockup period, more shares flooding in, diluting the value of my share. I feel okay investing more money in Palantir now that I know it can run wild and run free and go as high as it wants, $45 a share, $60 a share, whatever. I kind of just got this idea in my head that like, well, what if the share lockup period is a paper tiger? What if shares come into the market and then they just get bought up right away and the stock goes to the moon? So what if Palantir has their earnings call on Tuesday, and because of high expectations or whatever, the share dives after earnings call, even though they have an earnings beat. Earnings beat, but the share price falls. And then at the end of the week, when the share lockup period expires and people are allowed to sell their shares, the stock goes up, which would be the exact opposite of the timing that you would think would happen. That would be really interesting. And perhaps this just shows all of you at home how unclear the path ahead is. All that being said, here is my best guess for how this all shakes out over the next 2 weeks. I think that Palantir is going to have a massive earnings beat. I think that perhaps it could be so compelling that the stock price has no option but to go up. How high? I couldn't say, but up. 10% from $32 would be about $34, $35 a share. If it went up 20%, that would put it at nearly $40 a share. I don't know. But I think that whichever spot it peaks at, it will peak there only momentarily before quickly receding, because the share lockup period is going to happen in 3 short days after the earnings call. So with that on the horizon, the shares will probably sell off later in the week. And then I think when the share lockup period expires, more shares will come into the market. The stock will drift further down. And that is when we would most likely, according to my best guess, this is just my opinion, find our best buying opportunity for Palantir before it takes off again and finds new highs above $45 a share. That's just my best guess though. I don't have a crystal ball and I am dying to see what happens. Leave in the comments below what you think is going to happen, if there's going to be an earnings beat, if you think that it's going to unfold the way that I just described or some other way. You let me know. I'd love to hear it. Join my Patreon if you want to get an inside look at my own personal portfolio. You also get instant access to my Discord where we talk about stocks all day and you get to see what stocks I'm buying and selling. Pick up your 2 free stocks using the WEBULL link down below. They give you 2 free stocks. All you have to do is deposit $100, get you started. It's great. I use them. It's a lot of fun. Let me know what you think is going to happen with Palantir stock. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? And I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.